I was asked about some stretches for opening up the hips to take Lotus. So what I am going to show you is pretty much the sequence for a primary series of Ashtanga, but without the vinyasa in between. And the first one is a forward fold, just a straight forward fold. And what you want to be careful of this, if you're tight, is that you actually move from the hip joint. And I talk about this when we open the Lotus or take the Lotus. So you're moving from where the femur attaches into the pelvic bone. So it's right in this joint here. And the first thing for really, really tight people, it can be really challenging even just to sit up straight like this. So that might be the first thing that you do. If you're okay with that, then you can start moving your chest forward, and what you want to be careful of is that you don't round your back so that the pelvis goes backwards. Instead, you want to be sitting up straight, moving from the hip joint, and then folding forward. And then what you do is you just put your hands wherever they land. If you're flexible, then you'd be able to go all the way to your toes, but if you can't do that, you just let your hands land wherever they are, and you just feel your chest moving forward as you're holding in the abdominals, TVA, and keeping the back straight. And then with time, you just move deeper and deeper and deeper. And as you can see, my back is pretty flat the whole way down. And if you're really flexible, then you just come all the way down. What this does is it lengthens the hamstring, and it also lengthens the back muscles here, which is the QL. If you have tight hamstrings, or if you've had hamstring injury and you're worried about it, if you're feeling tightness either in this area or in this area, which are the hamstring insertions, then you pull back. If you're feeling it in the bulk of the muscle, like in this area here, you're okay. You can hold it there. If you're feeling it when you're here, then stay there and hold it there. If you're feeling it around the knee, like the back of the knee, or up by the hamstring insertion up here, then just pull back a little bit and hold there, where you can just feel it, but it's not painful. And then with time, as your hamstring injury heals, it'll get better. Again, if you have tight hamstrings and you're feeling it in the bulk of the muscle, you're okay. The second posture in the Ashtanga series is half lotus. So again, the way we take half lotus, bring the knee all the way in, bring the knee out. If you can, you bring it all the way down out to the floor, and then you twist from the joint, the hip joint, femur hip joint, lift the heel to the navel, and then spinning, moving from the hip joint, bringing the knee, and with time you can bring the knee closer and closer so that it's more of a lined up posture. And then if you're here, so now if you can't take this, then you can come into a figure four, and then to protect the knee, and you make your foot flexed, and then from here or here, again sitting up straight, you reach forward, and that will make it deeper. It'll make this joint and this hip deeper. Same thing in here. In this posture, figure four, you'll probably feel it more on the outside here. And you just, same thing, you go as far forward as you can, keeping your back as flat as possible, and you reach to where your limit is, and then you hold there. Hold for 5 breaths. The next posture, this can be really tricky if you're tight. And so what I tell people that are really tight, I've taught a lot of hockey players that tend to be really tight, is I tell them to come in to like this position here. And then if you can go with a straight leg, then that's great. Just be careful you don't overextend. If you're tight, you probably can't overextend your knee joint anyway. And then if this is all you can do and you're feeling it, it's killing you, then that's all you're doing. If you can come down and lower down and lower down and lower down and lower down, then you do that. But you keep yourself holding up with your hands, like whatever you need to hold with your hands. and then lower down, lower. With time you can come deeper and deeper and further lower down. Either wherever you're at, where you're feeling it and where it's killing you, hold there for 5 breaths. If you're okay to come and sit down, then make sure that your heel is to the outside of the hip so that your hip can come down. And then full posture, reaching forward, let your hands go wherever they go. So with the heel coming to the side, what it looks like is the heel is out to the side so that your hip joint can come all the way down and both hips can sit on the floor as you reach forward. From the front, you're trying to keep the knee close to the other knee, and then this position here, if you want, you can put a block under the other hip so that you're holding it for a bit. The problem with the block is that you're kind of not playing with this movement. Also, this posture will kill, for some of you, will kill the ankle. But, I mean, as it gets better, it'll get better. Third posture is, it's actually halfway to half lotus. So bring the knee up to the chest, bring the heel into the thigh, and then bring it out to the side. And you're trying to create an L shape between, or 90 degrees, from this knee into here, the foot into here, and then the inside of this leg. So this is a 90-degree angle. And then from this, again, you reach forward. And you just stop where you're feeling that it's too tight. The second posture after this one is a little trickier. You want to flex your foot, and then you want to put your hands behind you, lift up and slide forward so that you're sitting on top of the heel. This can be also very, very tight. So again, leave your hands behind until you feel that you can actually sit all the way down on your foot. I'm sitting on hardwood floor, so it's kind of uncomfortable for that reason. And then again, if you can, eventually, you reach forward into the full posture. But this is also good for your ankle as well as your hip. Third one is called as break the ankle, and it can be a tough one. You feed your arm between your upper and lower leg, and then you take your hand so that your fingers are grabbing your toes. So your fingers grab around your toes, and then you lift, so you're flexing your toes as much as you can. And then flex your foot, and then reach the bottom of the toes to the floor, and the heel goes into your thigh. And then you can let go. And then if you can sit like that, again, you're reaching forward. As you reach forward, you'll feel that the posture gets deeper. If you want to get it even deeper, this is usually challenging enough if you're tight. If you want to get it even deeper, you can lift yourself up a little bit and push forward, and that pushes the heel further deeper into the other thigh, so like that. Then there's one posture where you bend your knee, put your toes about in line with your other knee, and then you reach forward. You reach both your hands forward. Take the right arm, if it's your right leg that's bent, take your right arm and turn the palm away from your foot, and then bend the elbow and reach your arm back around, so you're wrapping around the bent leg. And then keep reaching forward. If you want, you can check and see, you might be able to actually reach your hand behind your back. Not necessarily. Like, this might be all you can do, and this might make it deeper. And then if you can, you get it deeper by reaching forward even more. And then the other one is, so this is can be tricky if you're tight and you can't take the half lotus, because if you're tight and you're frustrated that you can't take your half lotus, you can't come all the way in here. If you can't come in here and you're taking figure 4, that's fine. Then you can work on bending this leg, which actually makes this whole thing even deeper. And then you just work with bending this leg more and more while you're also keeping your back straight. So as you're taking this posture, so if it's in half lotus, then bending the leg, you'll feel that it gets this deeper. Just be careful that you don't tilt your pelvis back. Instead, you want to keep sitting up, engaging the TVA, and then bending the knee more and more, and eventually with time, you can take all the way and wrap around with your hands, reaching forward, getting it deeper. I think that's plenty. If you want to do all these postures, it probably take you about 5 minutes to do them one after the other, doing both sides, holding each breath, each posture for 5 breaths. So if you're starting with the forward fold, then you take half lotus, then you would switch, take the other side half lotus, hold for 5 breaths each side. Then you would go to this one, hold for 5 breaths, and then go to the next one, hold for 5 breaths. And then these ones are, the first one's probably accessible to most people. The second one can be hard. The third one is probably more accessible to more people than they think. And then the last one, wrapping around, and then if you really want to challenge yourself, then you do the one with half lotus and reaching forward. If you're doing 5 breaths each side for each posture, it'll open your hips. It'll be challenging, but a lot of fun. And so I hope that helps. Bye guys.